Okay, maybe we're live. Let's verify if that's true. We're gonna do some work this morning. We're gonna make some artwork for Dungeons and Dragons adventure that we're gonna be publishing on DMsGuild for the Eberron campaign setting using the 5e24 game engine. Checking my signal, seeing where we're at. Doing a mic check. Looks like I'm coming through, right? Doing a mic check. Yep, I've got my gravelly, didn't really get sleep last night voice, so we're gonna see how today flows. We could be in for a rough ride, folks, but with God's grace, we'll get through it on the other side the way it's supposed to be. So let me go through my origin story here real quick, because I'm in the process of clicking social media buttons to send out alert that I'm live and assemble the Avengers, as it were. So my name is Phil Kearney. What's up? I create role-playing games. I illustrate them. I publish online, and I create content for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. I publish on DMsGuild. I've been a DM in playing D&D since Redbox and for 38 years. No, yeah, since 1987. Yeah, literally since 1987. And I've been a freelance illustrator since 1999. I've been an Eberron enthusiast since 2004, and so I've been creating content on the DMsGuild since 2018, but I've not created anything specifically for Eberron yet. Eberron is my homebrew world of choice when I'm just running a D&D campaign. I typically just drop it someplace inside of Eberron, so I'm making an adventure in Eberron as well. If you think today's fun, I'm here 9 times per week. Like, subscribe. Hey, new subscribers, 6 love, guys. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications of when I am live in the future. I'm here 9 times per week, Monday through Friday in the morning like this, as well as in the evenings on like Mondays and Thursdays, and lunchtimes, Tuesdays and Fridays, including today. Here's the full playlist of all 480 episodes that we've ran so far making this adventure, and here's a bunch of other books that I've already created on the DMsGuild. They have free previews. You just look at them, read them. If you're a D&D enthusiast, if you want to see me make more of this stuff, consider making a purchase to encourage similar behavior in the future, and thanks for the support. I also have a Discord community, Patreon, and social media feeds. Jump in if you're interested. I welcome debate and conversation on my Discord server. That's why it's there. So this book cover we made around episode 40. When it's up on the DMsGuild shelf, it'll look like this at a distance, baiting you into clicking it to find out more about the adventure. It's for characters level 7 or 8. You're fighting necromancers, undead, and demons in the Carnwood of Carnath on the continent of Corvair. And like I said, I both create, illustrate, and publish the RPG content. I'm specifically focusing on 5e right now, just because that's the edition of D&D that we're playing right now, and I love D&D. 5e is honestly the first edition of Dungeons and Dragons I've ever felt compelled to make homebrew content for. That most of even like back in 2nd edition, when I wanted to make some sort of a combat system, there was already a combat system. It was a point-by-combat system that was in the Oriental Adventures 1st edition. I think that was still 1st edition. That was a cool book, man. That was a really cool book. And the psionics from 2nd edition, super strong. Like 2nd edition, 1st and 2nd edition, like covered literally almost anything you could possibly think of. But then Wizards took over and upgraded the system to the D20 mechanism, and that is a great game engine. 5e really stripped down and made very efficient the D20 game engine in general. It's a good piece of machinery, and you can do a lot with it. So yeah, so we're making tokens today. We're getting close to done with what we need to do on this page. Let's see, we've got Sicken. Whenever a creature enters or begins its turn in the space, it must succeed. I should probably change the... I think I'm going to change the wording around like this, because this is centering too much. This is acting like it's a token that your character will step into, and when you do, you become sickened. And that is true about the Vulpina Lotharia, the Mabar, the plant of Mabar that poisons the air. That's literally true, poison and sickening. But that is not the intent of this. These, like we were showing in yesterday's session, these tokens are reminders of the different conditions and difficulties that characters will have while traversing a particular area. But it doesn't spell out specifically on the map where it does. That is going to be for these different tokens. So, Vulpina, the viridescent fungus, releases airborne spores that sicken living creatures and spawn new patches whenever they settle. There you go. That's a vibe. Plague moss, black florets. We don't have an icon for black florets because it just grows in plague moss. So plague moss, yes. Emerald caps, which are patches of foul mushrooms sprout from soil, tainted crystals of Mabar, crystallized soil, and plague moss. Ferric vines, we have an icon for that. It becomes a terrain type. Necrotic bones grow in twists and serrated gnarls that deal d6 points of piercing damage whenever a creature enters this space or begins its turn here. So this actually is an icon that literally sits on the map, as is the emerald caps, as is plague moss and crystals of Mabar themselves. Vulpina Letharia, again, that's the sickening space. We have actual icons for that we'll need to import into the document here shortly. Okay, so what we're working on right now is we have, I'm happy with this symbol. Sickened, looks good. It's different enough from exhaustion. Difficult terrain, exhaustion, poison condition. I need to put sickened condition. I'm just doing some spot edits here. When a creature, should probably be I could probably nip that. Creatures must succeed Constitution saving throw DC or it can't take any actions this turn. That's a very efficient statement, and that's fine. I can do that. It's actually the right way to do this. Yeah. Okay, cool. So I'll do that spot edit. So we'll probably peel open the document and take a look at it to do that. But for now, let's work on poisons. So we'll take here. We're going to drop that down like that. Go over here. Let's just grab a generic poison symbol, right? Poison. Warning sign. Is that a universal symbol? I wonder how universal these symbols really are. I've never actually explored it as a label, so that's the one I think I was thinking of. This is somebody's artwork. I'm borrowing it as a sample, not a cut paste. Let's take a second here and pay homage to, if there's somebody who's identified, let's see if we can identify who they are. Print hub, danger, safety, caution, warning, sign, vinyl, sticker, label, decal, print, color, wall mount. About this item, peel and stick, high quality, great warning, sign, made in USA. God bless you. Anything about a producer? Amazon.com return policy, product. Huh. All right. Well, whatever. Anonymously submitted. Let's copy that real quick. Get it out of the way. No. References go at the top and get a lock to distinguish them from the rest of the spiel. I want to go with a white skull. Okay. doing things like this, we don't need to have symmetry. We only have to do one half of the piece, and then we can use symmetry to flip it to the other side. So if it looks good on the left, I can try it on the left and the right, and between the two of them, pick which features I like the best. My throat's a little froggy. Let me take the opportunity to sip some coffee. Today we are drinking bruschetta. I acquire my coffee from Trader Joe's generally, or Home Goods. There's both a Trader Joe and a Home Goods within walking distance, so it's easy for me to grab a basket and go forage in the grocery stores. Excuse me about that. Sorry about the glurk, 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 glurk in your ear. Not how I intend for you to wake up. Oh, I like this so far. Maybe I want to revamp the tokens that the color mana tokens that I include in the color mana box, color mana mechanics. DMsGuild has recently loosened the regulations around maps and iconography to be able to include replicas, reproductions of specific world maps without context. You used to have some sort of like an adventure or something utilizing a map for you to publish a map of a official region. But that rule got relaxed recently, so I can most likely update my token, my color mana tokens to be more accurate to what's actually in the card game. So so I'm going to do that. Man, so far so good. I think I want to squish it down a bit. That's a hella cheekbone you're carrying there, son. Let's trim that in. Let's trim that in. Find a center. Big flat head. This is Friday, and it looks like I think I have plans for my Sunday night and Monday. So, although in America Monday is a holiday, I will be off screen. I think I'll still have my Monday night design stream. And we're going to have a design stream today at 2 o'clock, 2:30ish maybe. And we're going to continue working on the Unearthed Arcana horror subclasses that Wizards of the Coast released last week. We're converting all the classes, all the character content for building characters, translating it into the color mana system. And so I have those books published already, and they're linked down below. You can check them out. They all have free previews. Just click on the eye icon on your phone to download a sample of the book. But otherwise, all the mechanics are there for you to convert D&D into the color magic paradigm. But with the release of 5th edition 24, or the revised 5e24 version, as we call, there's opportunities for me to. It is mechanically different. It's different enough that it actually smooths out the ride a little bit. It's like if the suspension was a little rough on 5e24 replaces the shocks and and your brake pads. You know, gives you an oil change. It's a good piece of machinery, and I like designing for it. I think the way that they grant resources in 5e24 and the way that they're still straining around spell slot usage and a cache of uses per day based on that curve is too high. I need to bring it down like this. Like proficiency or ability score per day options. That's one way to approach resource management, which I still use. But then there's supplementing it with, you know, you can make this the theme of your character by having a mana cost to use it repeatedly, and so we define that as well. So virtually anything that your character can do can be done, can be spammed through mana expenditure. The more mana you have, obviously, the more you can do the features. You can further build your character around. Thank you, timer. Build your character around utilizing a specific class option. Like I like it's clumsy in 5e24, but Wizards is allowing you to basically regain. You can expend all your spell slots, but spell slots have a rising cost with each expenditure. A first level spell slot's 1 level worth of spells. A 5th level spell slot eats 5 levels worth of spell, but it's still a single action, so it's absorbing it more quickly. But you don't have the ability to parse out, you know, like you can divvy out points individually using a mana system that you cannot accomplish with the spell slot system. So it's limited in that capacity. So we can rebuild it. So we're rebuilding it using those 5e24 mechanics, and it's opening up a lot of really fun design space in the process. So it's been a lot of fun building that. So we're going to continue working on the subclasses today at probably 2 or 2:30, somewhere around in there. And then we have playtest tomorrow. And then Monday's a holiday, but I don't know what my I think I have plans that are potentially keeping me offline on Monday morning, but I should be on Monday night like usual, and probably like around 6 o'clock. And then I'll be back to my normal week. I don't want to make it too complicated because this isn't complicated. But I also don't want to be sloppy. That looks pretty good. Oops. Copy, paste, free transform. That looks pretty good. There. That looks really, really good. I'm gonna put that there. We'll drop the bones underneath it, and then our poison. That's really good. I like that. The proportions are no way perfect, but for iconography, it looks pretty good. So I think it is a nice distinguished shape. Yerp. All right, let's make some bones. No bones about it, but all bones for it. There. So we'll do as usual. Let's go with 6. And that's what, 9? Like that. No. We'll go, let's say, like that. Transform, flip. Looks pretty good. Hey, thanks, Sportfickle. Mark Moore, thanks a lot, guys. Just folks pinging me on social media that they're liking what I'm doing. So. Much appreciation to you guys. You can jump into my social feeds. I have links down below. I do both X and Blue Sky as well as Discord. Whenever I post, I'll post some sort of illustration, whether it's like a work in progress of the page that we're currently on, or a past illustration that I've completed, or like final image of something I had been working on last week, or whatever it is. So if you follow me on social media, you always see whenever I'm streaming, I'm dropping a piece of art in. That's generally something related to the subject matter of the day. And if I find that I don't have any art that's suitable for the current task, that's a good indication that I could be making something that utilizes those assets to encourage me. Like, I didn't have a lot of ship, like when I made Spelljammer, I had very little experience in creating Spelljammer ship art. So I made that book, and now I've had a lot of experience making Spelljammer art, and I'm really, really pleased with the results. That was a super fun project. I'm gonna take that, I'm gonna push that up here, like that, just to help balance this out a little bit. I think it's occupying a little bit too much space, so I'm going to take the batch of it. I don't need you anymore, Danger Symbol. Thank you for your service. And I can shrink that down a smidge. I think we'll be better off. Yeah, that feels pretty good. Okay, poison condition resolved. Let's see. Now we want to grab and import images here, so let's do that. Let's duplicate this layer here. Let's collapse these here. I think what I'll do is like I've got the 2040 symbol here, but I want to use I think it's Atrios Light is the font that we are using in Microsoft Word for for labels, and so I'm going to import this overlay and then match up the font. Maybe I will do that with you guys today, just so you can see what that process is, like how I bend the text based on the art, and then export the new text to interact with the art that's already done. So I build it. I'll show you in a bit. I'll show you the text process that I go through. I think that might be of value. So I'm gonna grab this. I'm gonna go like that. We're gonna call this center, left, right, center, left, right, center. Very good. Very good. We got right. We got poisoned. Blunt. I can take both of those, drag those up into the reference file, shut that up, seal that back up. Okay, great. So what I want to do right now is rabble. Generally, this line is lining up with the text. Lines up with the text. It's pretty good. It's pretty good positioning. So we can what we can do is copy and fill space and then duplicate. Here's a fun trick. So we've got our page of art here, right? And then we have we have our art here, and we have the dot of the art. See how that lines up? We also have the position of the symbol in relation to it. So I can just do a general grab on the whole thing. And here and here, I'm going to grab both of these. Oops. Let's highlight that and delete that real quick. So when I line those text up, there. I can get rid of the symbol, and they're equal position from each other now. So I've got this and I've got this now, and I can then duplicate these layers. I'm going to drop them all in opacity just a smidge, just to demonstrate the point a little bit better. And we push this up to here, and it snaps into position. And I can take got 1, 2 more. I don't need this one anymore. Duplicate those layers and push them up. Duplicate these layers, push them up the page. And now we have icon positions for everything, right? Man, nothing tastes good like water when you're thirsty. When we're using these icons, they're only addressing conditions and hazards in the environment, not specifically what a creature can do. So creatures obviously can make things sicken, they can poison people, they can charm them. I'm not having icons for each of those things. This is just specifically to label the environment so the DM can be aware of what is in that environment to properly portray it and to have proper tactical decisions during combat when the players, when the players choose to engage. Take that back to 100%.
100% is probably not the right solution here. Let's take it down to 50.
Let's be here like that. And I guess let's go shopping. So I'm gonna drop all these into a folder as base, and then we're going to file, open, crystals in a bar, artwork, environmental tokens, cobblestone, hazard tokens. Look, it's a whole batch of hazard tokens that we've created. Here's our crystals. Here's our plague moss. Here's emerald caps. Here's ferric vines. We did make icons for the florets, but they just don't register well on their own. So we're just keeping those aside as just gunk. These are all moss. And then this is the Litharia vulpina. So these are distinguished, unique icons from each other that can be integrated into a rolling pattern of interlocking. Kind of like we were doing with the corn maze earlier this week. We can interlock these things together to corn maze these ferric vines into large tarns. Bob's your uncle. So I'm going to here's the full batch. So we're going to take the ferric vines. We're going to go to duplicate layer, and we're going to go to page 1 through 7 equals blip, and then back to here. We should see this in the upper corner. Nope, it's down here. Perfect. Go over here. Free transform, increase the size. Center it up so it looks good. I'll probably end up fading this down to 25%. I want it to stand out but not overwhelm, you know? A good frame should help pull forward the imagery, not overwhelm or envelop it. So I think that's let's try 40. 40 doesn't look bad. What about 35? 35 looks pretty good. So let's let that sit. I'm gonna merge this down. Merge. Ferric, and then we'll go back over to here. I don't need this anymore. Thank you for your service, Amazon. Let's grab some crystals. How about you? You. E. I like this one best. Duplicate. Wait a second. Yeah, I like that one best. First try. Duplicate layer. Goes to 1 to 7. Engage. Number 1. Bottom of the class. Transform. Resize it up to fill the space, not overwhelm it. Beep beep boop boop. You could be smaller. Merge. Crystals. That's what your soil turns into when it's exposed to the necrotic energies of the plane of darkness and dread, which is the plane of Mabar. And this adventure is all about creating a manifest zone so powerful that it literally terraforms the environment into Mabar, and at the pinnacle of that process opens a gate directly to Mabar that is a two-way portal people can come and go through, as well as demons and undead, which becomes the staging ground to assault the world. And the artifact, the Eye of Mabar, that does this, the ritual that a mortal caster would use to create, to complete the ritual of Mabar, that very process transforms the caster into a Yugoloth. That is, the Yugoloth is the supreme demon presence in the plane of Mabar. And so the process of creating the plane transforms the creator into a Yugoloth that then becomes an agent of Mabar itself and leads the army that will attack the world. So your job is to shut that shit down. Whether you know that or not when you start the adventure is a question, depending on how you enter the adventure, what kind of a plot hook you use to access it. But the end result of all of this is to shut the ritual down, hold the people that are accountable for it, and clear the area and take control of it. So there's 6 different plot hooks that the characters that are provided with the adventure, and different ways that those plot hooks approach the content of the adventure to make a more unique experience. So if you're running this as part of an ongoing campaign, you can look at those 6 presented plot hooks and say that one most aligns with what my team has going on right now, or another one's like, this is the way that I want to approach this adventure, and then you just frame the adventure from that plot hook. And in the appendix down below, it modifies the different sections of the book to work to better interact with, like, you read through the adventure with its default where your characters don't know anything going into the situation, so it's the most ignorant approach to literally the character's the most ignorant by default. But as you check out these different plot points, it assumes you know more and more information about what's going on, until at some point you're playing fixers for the organization that set this whole thing up, and the people that are operating it have gone rogue. And your job is to go in and take control of the facility so that the necromancers can be replaced with a new batch of necromancers that will stay on script with what they were hired to do to create this manifest zone. But that's like the ultimate. That's like the ultimate. You know more information about this than anyone else going in. And as you move further and further away from that organization, you get into, we know there's evil in the area, but we need to investigate. Oh, and then whatever it is that you need to do, shut it down. Another one's like, we know that this portal is being opened to the plane of Mabar, and we need that to get shut down. We know where the facility is at specifically. We're going to send you to that location. Here's your coordinates. Shut that shit down. We put those people in that facility in the first place, and they've gone rogue. We need you to shut that down. Like, one of the scenarios is like, you have family in the area, and they've noticed things are going weird. When you show up, they're missing, and they've been kidnapped to be sacrificed to the ritual. You have to shut that thing down. Like, all these paths lead to where the nexus of the adventure is at. But there's many different ways you can kind of jacques around the campaign, with the plot hooks lead in different paths, and the actual physical spaces in the adventure lead to different paths. And the plot hook plus the physical entry point create different intersections of encounters and interactions that your characters can have. And so once you read through the default where your characters don't know anything, and you start looking at, well, what's some of the alternate approaches to it? It's like, oh, you know all of this stuff, and these are the people that you encounter, and here's the information that you start with, and here's your goals, and here's your rewards that are all different from each other depending on which plot hook you choose. And that's like the adventure itself is probably like 60 pages. But there's like 40 pages worth of design content, like description and like theory crafting and alternate plot hooks and expansions. So the adventure spends almost as much time talking about how you can use this to further your campaign or where it can lead you to as it does in actually presenting the adventure. So a lot of fun. It's meant to be a toolkit to help launch or stabilize campaigns in the nation of Karrnath on Eberron. So I think Karrnath is one of the absolute coolest places to adventure in Eberron, because it's detoxing from military necromancy. It's got a huge grassland that's been overrun by dinosaur-riding natives. It borders on the Mournland, which is like a wild magic zone. It's got haunted forests. It's got Arctic seas, and it's adjacent to a mountain range that lead down into Khyber, populated by dwarves. I'm supposed to be working on Plague Moss right now, so let me do that. You got me monologuing again, guys. Let's see. Yeah, let's just grab this one. This one feels good. Yeah, let's grab this one. Duplicate the layer. 1 to 7. Oops. And when we build maps, we actually import these icons and then just litter them across the map. So in the assets pack, we'll provide pre-populated maps and then blank maps where you can where you get these icons as tokens that you can drop into virtual tabletop or print on sheets if you want to. But it's intended to give you the map and then to use these. And so we have tile sets for different types of maps: forests, swamp environments, the village. We've got three different sets of ruins and one underground dungeon that all utilize these different icons inside the manifest zone. And yeah, there you go. So that's what we do. Merge this down. Moss. Let's go grab some emerald caps. Let's go with the full. Duplicate the group. Boop. Nope. Didn't want to do it that way. Want to duplicate the group. There. And then let's go down to 107, 127. There we go. And so I should be on Monday night like usual doing game design stuff, but I do not know and doubt that I am going to be on Monday morning doing art. But my schedule will resume to normal on Tuesday. This is a holiday and I've got an opportunity to spend time with family. I'm going to take the opportunity. Merge emerald caps. And then full peanut. I feel like that one. let's go with the full. Let's see if this one makes sense. It probably will. Yeah, that feels good. Okay, we're doing pretty good here. Let's bond this into merge that group, and we'll call it Vulpina. And center is done. We're gonna work on these icons over here, and finish off this page. So, and then we also need to correct the text over here. Stitch that shut. Sorry, this is technically a text edit, so it belongs outside the folder down by the text. Down by the text. We'll do that. We're going to remove the text for the moment. And now we're going to, well, we can shut this down. No, don't need that. We're going to file, save as to the computer. Crystals, let's, no, wait. JPEG, right? Not PNG. Page 5, right? Page 5. So we just saved this. Waiting for it to finish saving. I'm going to take the opportunity here to sip of coffee. Still saving. Boy, that's a monster file. It's a PNG though. PNGs take a while. And then we're going to open up the PNG and we're going to reduce it. So while that's chewing, let's go to Microsoft Word and open the Crystals on Bar layout document that we have. I'm gonna drop down here. See, this is what it looks like when we integrate one of these things into the page. And you can see this is, oh, is that just Merriweather? Oh, I guess it's just regular Merriweather. Okay, well that's easy enough. Here we are. This is where we want to be at. You can see it's that, again, this the 16 by 9 format, 12-point text font text. It's very, very simple. How are we doing over here, buddy? You almost done saving? Jeez, that's just cumbersome. I think I should probably, before I do this in the future, I should probably start extracting individual folders, groups into separate documents, so it's not so murderous. This is taking a while to complete. I know that OBS is eating RAM, and I just opened up a really large Word file, so that's going to eat up a little bit of RAM, but this is by far just absolutely chewing through. 32 RAM. This is chewing through a lot of it. Okay, so what we do here is when we add backgrounds, first thing we do is remove the pin so we don't accidentally draw on our page. But we go to insert, and then we go with shapes, and we go with a square. And we block one in like this, and then Then we go back to design, layout. See how slow my computer is chugging on this stuff? Size. God, I feel like I'm killing my computer. That's not the right way to do. Let's go to align. What I should do, sorry. I should know the page size, but for whatever reason I don't currently. So let's go to this one and then look at shape format.
No, picture format. 10 by 17. 10 inches tall, 17 inches wide.
That's right. Thank you. So go here. We'll go to shape format. I'm going to go to size. Height will be 10. And then 17. And then we go to shape format. And there should be line. Why are you not giving me arrange? Thank you. Position, that's what I needed. Align to the page. Align left. Align center. And now that space completely fills. No, it doesn't. It's supposed to completely fill the page, but it isn't for some reason. Let's go back here. Let's go to space. Oh, arrange, position, align page, align top. There we go. Now you can see that space completely occupies the page. And now, if this would ever finish, if this would please finish saving sometime soon, please. I'm in it. I can't stop it. I can't stop the signal now. It's got to finish doing what it's doing. Waiting for Ficini. You done yet, buddy? Jesus. Oy vey. Yeah, this is a pickle. It's just kind of locking up. I hope I didn't just kill all my freaking work for the day. Like the PSD file doesn't take any time to save. This is taking for freaking ever. I feel like I've crashed my computer or crashed the program, and it just hasn't caught up and been able to actually close out yet. That's disturbing. I'm going to hit save here real quick because this is eventually going to become a thing. So we're waiting for the picture to finish so that we can drop it in here so we can see how it aligns on the page, so we can take the text and put the text into the box. We've got these boxes here that we need to have correct fonts put inside of. But we can't do that until the fucking document finishes saving. So, oh boy, I don't want to just close this thing down. Saved 9:05. That was yesterday. Shice. Yeah, I can't just kill it. Oh, finally we finished. Holy Hannah, that was rough. So let's just hit save real quick here. Look how fast the PSD is just saving. That PNG conversion process is just murder. Oh crap, and I did it wrong. I actually did it wrong. Oh man, I have to do the whole thing over. I have to save again. Okay, cool. So no, that's great. That's great. Let's take the filigree and page 5 without the text. Conceal, conceal. So it's 5 in the filigree. That's what we want to do. We want to duplicate these layers. No, filigree 5 and background. We want to duplicate those layers in a new layer, in a new document. Bloop. So this is all we have. So we can collapse all this together. Thank you, Timely Timer. And here we come back in. Hit save here again just to be paranoid. Cool. And I'm going to actually close this file to eat up less RAM. And then I'm going to file save as PNG. Wow, it didn't save. I actually did. That's how long it took for it to cancel. It actually canceled. Holy crap. Page 5. Here's. Oh my god, we never even got to this point. That was crazy. Look how fast this saved now. Wait, that's not necessarily fast. I should have. What we need to do, what I have to do, is reduce the font size down to 150. Sorry, the resolution, page resolution, down to 150 DPI. Right now we're operating at 300 DPI, but Word doesn't recognize DPI higher than 150. It's just a system limitation that it has, which means that we can drastically reduce the actual file size of these documents when we import them into Word. And by God, we're just choking on this thing. Also taking its time. JPEG is a much faster format to save in, but it doesn't convert as cleanly into Word as PNGs. PNGs are the best. They also take the longest to process. Waiting for this thing. Luckily, we saved the document, the actual master document. Right now, we're just kind of sitting around and waiting. Well, I mean, I guess while we're here, we can go into here, and what we'll do is we're going to send it back behind text. And we can fill this with a gentler color for the time being. I wanted to reword these things. Creatures. It's the sickened condition. And creatures with the poison condition have this advantage on when making attack rolls disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks. Whenever a creature, and then we have creatures that become sickened isn't technically a condition, so that's the wrong way of framing that. So the way that I had it originally is the correct way. Let's get you lined up there, buddy. There you go. Creatures that become sickened cannot take actions or bonus sickened cannot take actions or bonus actions until a creature that becomes sickened, a creature that becomes sickened cannot take actions or bonus actions until the condition ends. This viridescent fungus releases airborne spores that sicken living creatures and spawn new patches wherever they settle. And spawn new patches wherever they settle. Yeesh. This is airborne spores that sicken living creatures. And spawn new patches of fungus wherever they settle. This viridescent fungus releases airborne spores that sicken living creatures and spawn new patches of fungus wherever they settle. Yeah, that is the proper language. Cool. And how are we doing over here? Finally. So let's take this and we'll image size. We're going to drop the resolution down to 150. And now we can apparently save it again, I guess. PNG. Absolutely want to replace it. And while that's being processed, we can still see our progress bar down underneath here. I will keep an eye on that. And poison condition. Creatures with the poison condition have disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks until the until the condition ends. Until the condition ends. Sickened, a creature that become a creature with the poison condition has disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks until the condition ends. A creature that becomes sickened cannot take actions or bonus actions until the condition ends. And then the actual individual material. You can get sickened by Vulpina Letharia. There's a quick note about Vulpina over here. The Viridescent fungus releases airborne spores that sicken living creatures. That spawn new patches wherever they settle. A creature occupying the same space has the becomes sickened. A creature occupying the same space become sickened. Oh, it's a little bit too long. Spores that the viridescent fungus releases airborne spores that spawn the viridescent fungus releases airborne spores that spread the fungus wherever they settle. There we go. A creature. Damn. This viridescent fungus releases spores that spread. There we go. The fungus wherever they settle. A creature occupying. Nice. It's still a little close. A creature occupying the same space becomes sickened. Creature that occupies the same space becomes sickened. Period. There's a saving throw attached to it, but in the appendix, we go into more detail about what that condition is. So I don't feel I need to necessarily add all the details here right now. But here's this. Okay, great. So here's our full map again, or our full page. And now we can go to here. We can go to outline equals no outline, and fill equals picture from file equals crystals art. Back it up a step. Art production page 5. Look, snapped right into position, didn't it? So now I want to, and that the text overlays on top of it, this just becomes the background. So if I made a PDF of this page, it would just basically spit it out like this. Hold on real quick. Let's make a PDF of this page real quick just to demonstrate our point. Export as a PDF. Create a PDF. We're going to call it page 5 for the lulz. We'll go with options equals the current page only in this document without any property tags or structure markup equals okay, and publish replace equals yes, and then it spits out the PDF. There's your page. This is getting close to a page of the adventure. We have enough space down here for an additional icon if we find that we need it. I don't know if we're going to find that we need it or not, but the space is here in case we do. I don't think so, but as we go through the mapping process, we might find it's like, oh geez, it'd be great to have an additional piece of detail here. Insert whatever is convenient. I'm contemplating this gap here and closing it because the black florets doesn't technically need. I've got 3 lines allocated to each because of the size of the symbol, but I'm noticing here, like the plague wind here at the bottom, it doesn't have it. It's got that 5-point point of separation, but we've got the 5-point font and the 12-point text font that's a 17-point space between emerald caps and black florets. We don't necessarily need that, so we might be updating these tags. I'm not 100% there yet. We might decide to do that. I like the consistency and the pace and the spacing there. I don't necessarily know if I want to mess with that, but that's technically not our goal right now. What our goal currently is, hold on, I want to make sure I don't use my pen. I want to make sure I stay with here. Let's zoom in here, because our goal, our purpose for doing this process right now is to dive in here. Right, add text, the number 20. It's defaulting to Roboto, but we want to use Merriweather. We might go to Atria. Aptos was, I'm sorry, that was the one that we were considering. Aptos body, nah. Aptos display, no. Aptos serif. Aptos serif isn't horrible. Yeah, I don't like that drop down. So we gotta go with Aptos serif. The number W. And let's see, we're currently at a 12-point font. We can get higher. I'm going to make the background transparent. No fill. What happens if we bump it to 18? Does it get crowded? It's starting to feel crowded. It's about the size that we're using there, you see? Almost-ish. Let's bring this box in a bit. No, that's about right. And that's about the proper positioning. So we can take this. First off, we can copy it. But then we go no outline. We got this little monster up here in the corner. Drag him across the page. Yeah, that feels good. I love Merriweather font, but I hate the numbers for Merriweather. So I end up often swapping out the Merriweather number for just an upsized Roboto font. Roboto is the body, Merriweather are the titles, and then Apto Serif for what we're using for icons. And this is a 18-point font, is that right? Yeah, so that's apparently becoming our official font. And we're just going to trust that we have this already properly centered. I'm going to copy, and then we're going to outline, no outline. I'm going to click here, very important, so that I can add this line in closer to the actual location. I'm going to take this font here. I'm going to line these this O up, the 0. There. Boom. And slide it into place. Then outline equals no outline, and then here $80. We're going to line up our zeros. Drop it into position. There we go. Then we're going to outline, no outline. Back to the text. Pull back. Now we have this space. And then we're going to delete that background, but the text is still here. This is very faded. So we're going to hit here, and now we're going to the page background is currently transparent. It comes through as white, but it's actually transparent. So when I file, more, export, PDF, create, page 5, options, current page, document, no properties, structure tags, publish. It's going to now do without the background. The page still exists. So now we go back into Photoshop. I hit save real quick. I dive out, go into Photoshop. Knock this out of the way. Untitled goes away. File. Open recent. Page 1 to 7. And now we're going to file, open, crystals, page 5, okay, select all text, copy, paste into place. See, there's your text. I'm going to leave it down here for a moment because we need to go over here to the right-hand side page. And hey, look at that. All right, font snapped into place. And we've successfully finished all the icons on this page. It's squeaky clean, easy peasy, right? So we can go ahead and contemplate our next move. What I'm going to do, actually, what I want to do is this. Grab your pen, sir. Let's do this. And let's do this. Cut, paste. Drop down here. Remove that. Text. And then take this. Open up the light and heavy fog. Cut, paste into heavy fog, and then drag drop the light fog. Good. Good. Barf. These now properly line up so we can spot edit and shunt these things around if we need to. But for now, this thing looks pretty good. We're going to have to work on the border, but we don't have to work on that yet. We'll get to it eventually. But this page is officially on lockdown. Page 5 is done. As you can see here, as we keep scrolling through here, page 7 is effectively done. I'm not sure. Following villagers have been reported as missing from peace. Bleh. There's that, and then we have here. These are different plot hooks over here. It's describing each of them. Here's your quest givers for each of those plot hooks. The default is deputized, where you know absolutely nothing and you go in to investigate. Short, long rests. This page is good. We've just finished the icon page here on 4, 5. This is our next page, where we have to build the structure. We want to build icons for structure and then potentially take these icons and drop them down here to be clickable. I want to establish these icons as different locations, like the different areas that the team, the regions that the team can go to during the course of the adventure, and immediately have these icons associate with, oh, I can see those at the bottom of the page. I now know what each of these lead you to. That's the association I want to create. So we need to make icons that are unique and interesting, that occupy the space of the map properly. Here we have the different factions: Emerald Claw, Red Wolf Company. The Emerald Claw are the necromancers that are performing the ritual and have been hired by the 12 to get the Manifest Zone up and running. Red Wolf Company were hired by the Emerald Claw as a decommissioned undead, basically a military police undead wrangling team that would do field cleanup after a battle to reclaim and control roaming undead. And then the local villagers in the village peace are the victims of the necromancers, and the Red Wolf Company is unaware that the Emerald Claw are sending in cultists to kidnap these people and sneak them into the facility behind, underneath the Red Wolf's nose. So the necromancers have the Red Wolves go explore and patrol this territory, and while they do that, they bring villagers in through this area over here. And if mercenaries go off the reservation into these areas they're not supposed to be in, well, they just end up getting killed by undead. And then so the local villagers are the victims here. The necromancers are, of course, the bad guys. And the Red Wolf Company are becoming suspicious, but are otherwise ignorant of actual circumstances that are occurring. And during the course of the adventure, if you could either ally with or become enemies with the Red Wolves, you're going to be enemies of the necromancers. But depending on how you treat the Red Wolf mercenaries while you're operating in space is going to determine whether they help the Emerald Claw or they help you when it comes down to shutting down the ritual. If all you've done is fight, kill, and piss off the Red Wolf Company, by the time you get to the final boss fight, you're going to find that these guys are working against you. If you are really blatant about your activities going in, they may offer you alliance, but then specifically betray you at a crucial moment. Or if you're on the up and up with them and try to prevent any violence when possible when interacting with them, then they will ally with you. And if you succeed in the adventure and shut down the necromancers, you can take control of these facilities and ruins, patch them up, make them your bastion, and utilize the barracks facilities that are in the bastion to recruit the Red Wolf mercenaries to become your troops in that region that you can then command to police the Carnwood, the local villages that are nearby, and to keep that Manifest Zone from spawning further trouble. And then down in the appendix, when it's talking about expanding the adventure, there's a loose map of Khyber that you can access once you clean up the underground facility. You'll find an access point that'll lead you down into the Underdark of Khyber beneath the facility, so it becomes a staging ground for you to go into Underdark expeditions. And when you complete this adventure, you'll either be 8th or 9th level. You'll be a high enough level to be able to survive delving into Khyber. The problem with Khyber is it's a mythic dungeon. It's not only underground space, but it is actively conspiring to kill you. It is an old school style labyrinth nightmare zone where it is actively trying to lure your heroism down to take you away from life, and allow the Underdark to become more powerful by defeating your good energies. So great narrative design in the Eberron campaign setting for Khyber to be an intelligent force that wants to thwart and destroy good. I love that. And then we have page 2 here, which is the map that we had looked at. So we spent time building this. And then we have the cover. And I need to drop in icons here. But we'll do that later. That's not our priority right now. I end up doing this page last because it's an introduction. Once I actually get through I'll put all my contact information here, like my Patreon, my socials, my Discord, links to other books I've done, DMsGuild, my website, blah blah blah. And then here we'll put my my dragon icon. So yeah, in this set there's only this one page left, and this is going to be the trickiest. So The song asks, where do we go from here? And boy, that is a fine question. Yeah, we're off the reservation now, guys. I'm not necessarily sure how to proceed with this, but we're going to proceed. So this is us earning the big bucks right now. Let's conceal this and peel open this. Here's where the adventure takes place, like in this little zone here. Ooh, that's right. We need to. I can't lock this down yet because we actually need to make a scale meter. Like this equals 20 miles or whatever. Because this equals 20 miles. One, two, three, four. That's 80 miles. Now the question is, like, where would I put this? Meh. For transform. You know what? That was weird. Let's just do it right. There we go. There. Basically 0, 20 miles. Put it here. I could put it. That's not a decent. That's a decent spot for it. This is a very open space. This is probably the best place for that, and the most relevant. Hell, we could even do something like this. Hey, why aren't you? Thank you. Free transform. I've never done a tilted distance bar like that. But considering the only ones that are relevant in the map are like these 45-degree angles, like this is literally the only thing. This is for just general placement. This is zooming in on where the actual adventure is at, which is why we have this space here. This zooms in from the village through the forest to the manifest zone. It still has that same 45-degree angle, that northeastern passage. So I want to grab this map space from here. Nah. It's cute, but this is probably the proper way to do it. So let's just stay on task. Thank you, Timely Timer. What we got? Another 20 some odd minutes today. Yeah, so I'm gonna be here for like another. We'll futz around at any time now. I can decide to end futzing, but we'll be here for another 20 minutes. When we come back, I don't think I'm gonna be here on Monday. I believe I'm gonna have Sunday night plans that are gonna have me away from home. So we'll see how that pans out. But Monday night, my intention is to be here, but I don't know what my timing is going to be. There might be some sort of barbecue or something that keeps me from showing up Monday night. And if that's the case, then we'll be back on Thursday. But yeah, we can afford to be here. Mile 20 miles there. All right, what do I want to do? What I want to do, blot. Wait for it. Checking to see where these icons are at. I didn't properly label them, so I don't honestly know. All right. Let's, yeah, this is where we want to be. This is what we want to grab. Hey Steve, how you doing? Let's grab this. Copy like that. to close this out. And now we're going to move over to page 4. And now we're going to go back to page 2. Select. Why is reselect not an option? How annoying. I'm going to copy. Go to 1, 2, 3, 4. There. That. Do that equals 100%. Resolved. Drop in. Pop. Yes. Okay, so we got this. This is a reference. This is where you actually need to pay attention. Free transform. Make it bigger. Blah, 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 bigger. I'm not sure how I'm supposed to do this. So right now I'm just trying to break things down. Cute. Let's do that. Okay, so running the adventure, ongoing campaign, single adventure, toolkit, locations. Now we're looking at locations. The adventure is organized by locations, divided into separate parts as depicted in the diagram to the right. Part 1, Edge of Lament. Part 2, Into the Mist. Part 3, Within the Nexus. So this is where Part 1 is at. Region A, Village Peace. Region B, Carnwood. So this is Part 1, A and B. Then we have Part 2, Into the Mist, Forgotten Cemetery, Flooded Fort, and Gatehouse, A, B, and C. So this is A, this is B, and this is C. And then we have Part 3, Within the Nexus. Part 2. And it's like Part 3. I mean, I'm trying to find a way to make these. So again, I want these icons to be simple but distinguishable from each other. So when we make our radial buttons down here, we have Part 1, and then we have the village and the forest. Then we have Part 2, the cemetery, flooded fort, and gatehouse. And then that was eliminated. And then Part 3 is just basically there. And so, and then we'd have Appendix 1, Appendix 2, and Appendix 3. So this is going to simplify a bit, but I need to suss a way to organize these things. And I'm not there yet. This is graphic design work that we're working on, and I might end up wrestling with this shit for a while. So I'm not sure how to play that out properly yet, but then there's like different ways we can organize this, like here and here. Part 1. Free transform. Then we have here's part 3. And then we have part 2 in the middle. Like that might actually be a really good way to organize this. That might work. Maybe. Like that. We may have just completely just stumbled into the solution by just simply mapping the problem. Holy shit. Okay. So, I mean, so far so good. So what? But still, so far so good. It's still credit. Maybe I don't want to box it in like that. Let's just keep attacking the problem. Find a solution. Here. I like that this angled wedge shape sits so easily inside here, but I mean, in reality, these 3 locations, like these 4 locations in relation to each other, is actually more like, well, it's technically it's like this, that the gatehouse sits over the nexus like this, and then the flooded ruins is to the east of the gatehouse and like literally just has a ramp that goes down into the Nexus, while this literally has a spiral staircase and an elevator that leads down into the Nexus. And the cemetery is literally located south of the Nexus and has a secret passage that leads to it as well, underground, directly north. Get all that gunk off of there. This is technically due east. This is technically due south. But this is not to scale. This is how this actually sits. Let's get rid of all this fluttery. And this is like this-ish. But if I'm not worrying about like literal, like this is a fairly accurate depiction. I mean, the forest itself isn't a thing. This is relatively how things are actually positioned in the adventure. The distance is exaggerated, but the positioning is accurate. So like we could probably put this icon down here and grab these three icons and probably put them kind of like this. Describing the problem creates the solution. So that's what worked last time for us to start building that idea. So let's lean into and assume that is going to work here as well. So if we position this here, so it's going through here, this is our endpoint here. And these three things lead to this location from here through the woods. So we could drop this to here maybe, and then put these to here. Maybe if we align these more like that. It's not, I mean, it's not visually, it's not actually accurate. I'm not normally in this design contemplation space during stream. It's not entertaining. It's a challenge, but it doesn't make for good TV. That seems okay. Thank you, Timely Timer. Crap. We're looking here. Okay, I nudged my screen on accident, so it got all fuddled up for me for a second. We could. Conceal that for a moment. Put you here. There's space for you here. That makes sense. And then we can maybe we go here and then take this here. Part 3, part 3, part 1. Then maybe we do something like, hey, what's going on, Fernando? It's good to see you, man. Let's see, part 1, part 2. So maybe, maybe that's what we need to do. Hold on. Doing graphic design work today it's normally I can just have a conversation while I'm doing artwork and it's super casual, but when I'm doing graphic design work like this, it ain't so easy. 15-point font is what I'm using here. Just for a meter of reference. So now we're going to go here. We're going to make a circle. Maybe this is the way to do it. And then select, modify, contract, 15. So then we find the point that we want to sit at here, and we put the circle so it centers over it. This might not be the right size circle, but okay. So I want to have the radial. I want to have the symmetry here. Roughly here. So these are the different zones. These are the different regions in the adventure. The 3 primary locations: Edge, Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, Edge of Lament, Into the Mist, within the Nexus. Part 1, Part 2, Part 3. Part 1 is broken into Village Peace and the Carnwood. Village Peace, the Carnwood. Then we have Part 2, which is Into the Mist. The Forgotten Cemetery, Flooded. The Part 2 is a manifest zone infused with necrotic energy from the plain of the Mavar, located 20 miles from the village. Festers, rotting the forest and transforming the terrain into a foggy swamp of noxious gas. Within the manifest zone, 3 paths lead underground to where the Emerald Claw performs the ritual sustaining the manifest zone: the Forgotten Cemetery, the Flooded Fort, and the Gatehouse. A, Forgotten Cemetery. B, Flooded Fort. C, Gatehouse. So depending on which path that the team, which path the DM, well, honestly, let's be honest here, which path the DM leads the team to is going to be, which, you know, how the adventure goes. You're going to go and fight undead in a cemetery? Are you going to go sneak your way through the flooded fort and through an underwater entrance into the fort, into the manifest zone? Into the underground. The nexus of the rich. Okay, so you have the manifest zone in the forest. So you go from the village through the forest into the manifested zone. In the manifest zone are the 3 regions that then lead you down into the nexus. The nexus is in the manifest zone underground. So, point. So maybe what we actually need to do is expand the size of the circle. Describing the problem solves the problem. That seems to be the theme that I'm learning today. So we could be here like this, and then like nip this end here. It's a little crowded, but that's the idea. So we can then take this here. That's the manifest zone. It's to the literal northeast of where we're located at. So I want what I need. What I need to be able to do. We have the region map here that we're setting up. So Ader Academy is involved. Fort Bastion is involved. The Village Peace and the Manifest Zone are where these things are actually happening at. Here's our 20-meter bar, which is the distance from this dot to this square. Not necessarily to exact proportion on these 2 points, but this is literally where the adventure occurs. So maybe what I actually need to do is put like a highlight, like part 1, part 2, and 3 or something like that. We haven't gotten to parts yet though. This is just describing the adventure background. The item of bar, necromancers, the ritual, and betrayal. Throughout this, like one artifact in particular, item of bar. We're talking about Ader Academy up here. So this sets up the positioning on stuff, and then here we're talking about the factions of the necromancers, the Emerald Claws, the necromancers, Red Wolf companies hired by the necromancers, local villages impacted by the necromancers, and the Red Wolf mercenaries. And we actually drop into the actual adventure space here, starting to describe how to run the adventure, organizing as an ongoing campaign, a single adventure, or just a toolkit, and then the locations that are inside of it. Part 1, Part 2, Part 3. I feel like this is the right way to do this. Nope. Here. Nope. Ooh, yeah, maybe we should do a diamond point like that inside of the manifest zone. That might work. Starting to create a little bit more space for us. So it's starting to pinch in the I mean, we'll have to rearrange it, but once we get these things into their proper... Yeah, I think this might work. This might work. So maybe we do this here. That circle is off now. I mean, the size of it's wrong as well, but if we want to get literal, the nexus is in the center. So if we really wanted to do this accurately, we would make it like that big. So that the nexus can actually be at the center, but this would disappear because it's interfering. LeFou, I'm afraid I've been thinking a dangerous pastime I know. What if we did it like that? That's kind of interesting. Maybe something like that. Yes, you're late. Yeah, you're late, my guy. I mean, on a normal week, I'd start at 6:30 a.m., which was 2.5 hours ago. So I'm damn near done for the day. I'm gonna be skipping out of here pretty soon. But this is where we're at. This is the problems that we're facing right now. So I could position that like that. Go to here. I need to keep these icons far enough away from the text to be into this space here. Which means I need to push the circle away. Yeah, see, that's too invasive. There. I don't hate this. Oh wait. I'll wait. We need to disable that layer. Yeah, so we're off center now. That's not good. We have to keep this line here. We have to keep that lined up. So let's see. But I can't get too close to the text. This is just the graphic. This is a graphic design nightmare. That's what we're facing. The terrain sits pretty. So that means we need to take well, what I really need to know is how big is this actual square going to be. That's actually really important. Free transform. Rotate 180. something like that would have. And I gotta I gotta be mindful of where am I in position to the text and each other's icons on the page. But that looks pretty aligned like that to the northeast, which is accurate. And then going to here, I believe. Let's go to our document here, and kick on down to the manifest zone, part 2. I believe there's a map in part 2. Here we go. Into the okay, great. So this page here, this is going to be an actual like accurate positioning of like the cemetery to the south of the gatehouse, and then the flooded fort is east of the gatehouse. So they're arranged in a triangle, 1, 2, 3. So you can see the Forgotten Cemetery here, and then the flooded fortress here. I should probably put the flooded fortress up here. Let's see what I'm trying to do there. I don't think it's quite working. These are all independent boxes. I can move these wherever I want them to. See, these are they're all just boxes. I can rearrange them any way that I want. So those aren't actually really important. This left column is basically defining the space, region A, B, and C, and then I can rearrange those however I want to fit with the map space that we have. So I want to keep. I can't make them more than a column wide each. I want to be able to break them into individual columns, but I could break format and just utilize this entire 2-page square space to put in a much closer zoomed map, and then rearrange these. Not necessarily. I like having this thing organized by columns, by individual columns, so it's easily digested. But if the content itself is going to fight me over that idea, I am not opposed to. First off, let's get this up here. I'm not opposed to breaking frame and breaking the column formatting to make the thing work. So, but the long story short is that we have on here in part 2, when you first get into it, we have a way to be able to, we have the space to literally position the locations in their correct position relative to each other. So I don't have to be literal in the map that we're working on here. At this point here, I'm gonna hit save real quick before something weird happens. But yeah, this space here that we're working on, I don't have to be literal about its proportions and its locations. I just have to be able to symbolically represent transitioning from one part of the adventure to the next, to transition from different areas. So in that sense, I think I think this might actually work as is. So since I don't have to worry about literal locations, but I do want to have like relative, like fairly accurate, but I can do this. Maybe even ooh, wow, yeah, maybe even like literally like that. I don't dislike that. And that might let us pull things in a little bit closer. I don't hate that idea at all. Here like that. And just taking a moment here to organize. Give me a second. I see there's text over there. I see you. Hold on. I'll catch up. There, get that. Part C. There we go. 2. Good. Part 3. Just going to bring in part 3 there. Now I don't have to worry about that edge issue so bad. That feels good. I don't necessarily need to have this back edge here. Or maybe I do. Maybe I just don't need to have this line here. I'm not 100%. What's up? Nope. I thought I saw text. I thought I saw text kicking over there, but I guess I was wrong. Beep, 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 beep. So this would be something like too big. Part 1. Part 2. Part 3. Part 1, Part 2. Part 3. That's not so bad. So, from the village into the Carnwood, from the Carnwood to one of these 3 areas, from one of these 3 areas, they all lead back to the Nexus. So you've got this branching starting point, branches out, and then reconvenes at the same point. So it doesn't matter which way you go, you end up where from the beginning at the end. Everything pulls you in that direction, but it bubbles, so you have space and options to be able to float around. How you get from the beginning to the end of the adventure is up to you. There's different paths that you can follow depending on what decisions that you make for yourself, what attracts you, or what the DM knows about the party thinks is going to be more entertaining and successful for the team. But I think this, I like this flowchart. I think that makes sense. I don't like, maybe I need to make the icons a little bit smaller so it sits inside of the space a little bit easier. But then I could do something like down here, like along down here. I could have part 3 could be a diamond instead of this circle with part 3 inside of it. It could just be a diamond with this image in it, right? Like, you know what this is. This is part 3 into the Nexus. So down here is part 3 that lines up. And then we have part 2, which could be a diamond. And then we could have circle A, B, and C. So this would be A, B, C in part 2, and this is part A and B in part 1, and then this is just part 3. So we'd have diamond, part 1, circle, circle, diamond, circle, 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 diamond. We don't have a D anymore. Diamond, and then maybe A, B, and C can be squares. So if that's the case, then maybe we need to make a diamond out of it as well. Could potentially do something maybe like this. Let's duplicate that layer. Meh. It'd have to be bigger. Now we're starting to spread beyond the scope of the actual page. That's not. But it's not wrong that the manifest zone is inside of the larger area too. Part 3 is inside part 2, while part 1 is outside of part 2. You go from part 1 into part 2. You go further into part 2 to part 3. And if we're going to be literal, the nexus is at the center of part 2. So that could be like that. Then we'd have to have this diamond lined up so that this one, look at that. How these edges are lining up. That's actually kind of cool. That. So that's indicating that these are off-centered. This one is fine. The space in between. This one should be here, lined up underneath that. And then this one should be here, lined up. I mean, these are making for very easy guiding points for me to be able to line these things up properly. This might be the actual proper way to do this. Nope, wait. Duplicate, not delete. Thank you, Kearney. Free transform. Rotate 180. I mean, that is kind of how it is. I need this incidental stuff out of the way. Keep my signal clear. Thank you. Yeah, that is... Not 100%. There. And this isn't 100% yet. Let's get that that's better aligned. And I can now see that this is actually a little up from where it should be, so that should actually be about here. This is kind of panning out. Almost there. Cut out of here in a few. I think, wow, okay. The proportions are wrong, but I think the organization is good. Holy shit, we're fucking figuring this thing out. I mean, go us. Well done, team. Holy shit. All of this probably needs to be scaled down a little bit so it doesn't pinch the space too much. Like that. That's starting to feel really cozy. One, two, three, four, five, six. Yeah. Holy shit. Part 1, A, B. Part 2, A, B, C, and then part 3. 1, 2, A, B, C, 3. The reason why C is in the middle because again the way that it's actually built is that part C is actually over the Nexus, so it's actually positioned like this. You can drop down through the gatehouse to get into the Nexus, or you could take a secret passage from the cemetery that gets into the Nexus, that gets into the dungeon where the Nexus is at, and then you can actually, there's a flooded tunnel underground. Also, secret passage here, and obvious like intended passage that goes to like this massive blaster door. Like there's this 20 foot portcullis, like a blast door, like a bulkhead door that can raise and lower with a winch mechanism and a gatehouse above it. Not kind of like this gatehouse. So you can raise and lower the portcullis, but it's closed and then fused shut with rust over centuries, and it's flooded in the tunnel that leads down from the fortress. It's an underground road that leads to the full facility underground. This fortress is at the surface and has this is a more radical slope. It's actually like a 7-degree slope, so it's actually kind of like this. It's actually pretty gentle. I mean, you can feel it, but it's not like a drop. But this goes down like 600 feet underground, 100 feet deep to where this is at, and so it's a large paved work stone. It's military grade underground tunneling, but because the door is sealed at the other side and the space above it is compromised, it's filled with flooded rainwater, rotten vegetation, and undead. So you could take this beaten path down underground, but you're fighting undead on your way down there. It's flooded, and when you get to the bottom of it, the entrance is sealed. You can find a way. There's a few different paths inside of the underground sealed area. There's different paths that you can follow to get from part B. So this has its own branching pathways inside, like 1, 2, 3 different ways to get in through B to the Nexus part 3. So there's 3 ways to get from part 1 to part 3 through A, B, and C. And inside of part B, or region B, there's another 1, 2, 3 ways to go from there. So, and if you go to the cemetery, you can either just fuck around and find out, but there's 2 different entry points that lead to the same tunnel that'll take you to the Nexus here as well. And then with the top side thing, there's two ways to get through here as well. There's a stairway that spirals down, and then there's just an elevator shaft that you can drop down. But if you use the elevator shaft, it's almost like you have a real issue. Like you're gonna get seen. If you use the spiral stairway, it's more stealthy for you to get down there, but it's just a different path that you have to find. Let's get rid of all that shit. There. So 2 paths here, 2 paths here, 2 paths here, 3 paths here. And then from part 1 to through part 2 to part 3, there's 1, 2, 3 paths as well. So there's all sorts of branching and reconverging points that take you to different encounters and opportunities inside the adventure, depending on which paths the team naturally wants to take. And we have all the details in the book sectioned out, like how do you deal with those different bits. But I think this is a good structural solution that we found. So we have to finish this page before we can actually build out the icons down here. And as you can see, as we're producing the different language, the visual language inside of the document, it helps feed into other pieces of it becomes self-referential. This page, on page 5 of the adventure, becomes referential for the rest of the adventure, because you'll now have an established navigation bar down here with symbolism, with symbology. That's right, I think the right word. The symbology, the iconography that we're establishing on this little section here. These different icons, the different shapes that these icons sit inside of. Man, this is panning out. All right, that's it for now, guys. I'm going to be back. It's 9:30 now. I think I'm going to be back in about 5 hours at 2:30 Seattle. It's 9:30 in Seattle now. So at 2:30, I'm going to be back on. We're going to continue working on subclasses. We started peeling apart the Unearthed Arcana 6 horror subclasses that Wizards of the Coast released last week. We've been translating them into the color mana paradigm for Magic the Gathering to use in the 5e game engine using the 5e24 game rules. Those books are already published for 2014 on the DMsGuild, linked down below, along with my Spelljammer book, the Theurgy system, and Nature's Ally, and some of the other stuff that I've built out over time. But this is yeah. So we're going to be back at 2:30, and we're going to work on that, continue digging our way through. We've gotten through 3 subclasses so far. We have 3 subclasses to go. With God's grace, today we'll be able to get those done. I don't know what my Monday is going to look like. So this afternoon session might be the last time I'm on screen until Tuesday morning, and when we continue art and I go back to my normal day job. So it'd be 6:30 a.m. till 8 o'clock, getting little pieces of it. But this has been a really successful day so far. Really, really successful. I did not expect to find the solution, but I'm really, really happy with it. God damn, this feels good. Feels good to be a gangster, y'all. All right, that's it. I'm out of here for now. Thanks a lot, guys. Really appreciate y'all hanging out with me. Thanks a lot to the new subscribers. And shout outs to me on social media. God bless. I will see you guys in 5 hours. See you then. Bye.